It's a solvable problem. We know how to solve this problem in its entirety. And if you're solution agnostic and you don't try and shove one solution down everyone's throat, there are lots of ways you can bring clean water. Hand-dug wells, rainwater harvesting, pond sand filters, drilled wells, springs. For about $65 in Cambodia, you can build a sand filter. And you take water like this in, and you turn it into water like that you or I could drink. 10 grand, you can build a well, serve 300 people. It's just a lot of digging, sometimes dynamite, jackhammers as you go down 40, 50 feet. It's months worth of work. 15, 20 grand, you bring in a $1 million rig. And you go deeper, 300, 400, 500 feet, tapping into these massive underground aquifers, lakes, underneath these villages. This is at a school with 1,500 kids. And then water changes everything. When you bring water into communities, it starts affecting the health. Kids get healthier. They stop dying of diarrhea. They get to spend more time in school because they're not walking 4 or 5 hours in the morning. Women will often tell us that sometimes they just use the extra time and they spend more time with their kids. But they'll often start small businesses. They'll earn $1 or $2 a day. This woman, Helen, actually told us she felt beautiful for the first time because she now finally had enough water to wash her face and her clothes and that of her kids and her husband. And she never had enough water, and she always put her family first. And what I loved about it was just tangible. It was provable. You know, you could know that you'd actually made a difference. The water was there, and it's flowing, or it wasn't. The UN came out with a powerful 88-page report saying, not only does water make people healthier, it makes them really richer, 12 times richer on average. So if you want to lift people out of poverty, it's a great, great way to do it. So 6 years ago, I started Charity Water. 2 big ideas. I wanted to end the water crisis, and I also wanted to reinvent charity, reinvent giving. My friends thought charity sucked. They weren't giving. They had all of these excuses. They said, you know, well, I give to a charity, my money goes into a black hole, into a void. Charities are inefficient and opaque, and I thought, well, they're right in some cases, but I wasn't jaded at all. I thought maybe we just needed a new model, and we could bring a lot of these disenchanted people back to the table and get them excited about giving. So came up with a 100% model. 2 bank accounts, they would never touch each other. 100% of the public's money would only directly fund water projects. And I had no idea how we would fund our staff and operations. I figured, you know, maybe we could convince board members and sponsors and companies and private donors. But we made this promise that we would never touch the public's money unless it went to projects. We would even pay back credit card fees. Someone gave 10 grand and we got 9,600 after Amex took their 4 points. We would separately raise the 400, send all $10,000. The second thing we would do is use technology just to show people where their money went. And this was so simple to me. Handheld GPS devices cost $99. Let's buy them. Let's put them out in all of the countries where we're working and never fund a project unless we can be guaranteed it exists. And then make all of those photos and GPS public on Google Earth and Google Maps. So people would know where the money had gone, the impact. And the third thing was to build a brand. You know, Nick Kristof had written in the New York Times that people were peddling toothpaste with more sophistication than all of the world's life-saving causes. I just thought that was broken. And you just needed good taste and a couple talented designers. And if we were going to solve this problem, we would need a brand that rivaled Nike or Apple. We would need an epic brand. So 6 years ago, I threw a party. It was the only thing I knew how to do to start this thing off. I gave my friends open bar. I told them they had to pay $20 at the door, and 700 people came. We took the $15,000 that we raised to northern Uganda to a refugee camp. We built 3 wells. We fixed 3 wells. And then we sent those photos and GPS back to all the people that attended. We started launching creative ad campaigns. We said we don't always need to take ourselves so seriously. We can have a little bit of fun with the brand. Normally, we did take ourselves seriously and tried to bring, you know, these statistics to life, these mind-numbing statistics. Right? How many of you can imagine 4,500 kids doing anything, let alone dying? But maybe giving your child death in a baby bottle is a more resonant image. We got free media on buses, on taxis, and billboards, got into the product marketing space, created yellow charity water items that raised awareness and also money. Stuff like dodo cases and playing cards. We partnered with brands in a creative way. This is one of my favorite. Macallan came to us and said, a lot of water in our whiskey, a lot of water in Scotland. We love what you're doing. We're like, okay. So they said, okay, we have it. We have a 64-year-old Macallan. It's the oldest we've ever made. What if we took it on a world tour, and to taste it, you had to drop $5,000? And we're like, who the heck would pay $5,000 for this much whiskey? And then they wrote us a $605,000 check. Some guy paid $62,000 in Taipei. We love social media, so we were the first charity to get 1 million followers on Twitter, and we used Instagram, Facebook, sharing images, sharing videos. Organization made over 300 videos. We tried to reinvent the gala. We were so bored of these rubber chicken, sit-down dinners. And just try to create a huge experience where 2,500 people would come in and create experiences like the water walk, where they would walk on a fashion show catwalk carrying 40 or 80 pounds of water, and companies would pay every time they walked. We got to open up the NASDAQ twice. We got to close the New York Stock Exchange just by asking to spread awareness. And then we stumbled onto this big idea, and the organization started to scale.